This is Coast TV, First Alert Meteorologist Chris Mastrobuono with this latest edition of Weather 101. And in this week's series, we are discussing corn sweat. Yes, what is corn sweat? I had asked myself the same question. Our promotions director, Rob Wilkinson, brought it to my attention a couple weeks ago. He goes, Chris, you ever hear corn sweat? I was like, wait, what? I grew up in the city. I never heard of it before, but it actually is a term that kind of came up here in the last year or so through the social media realms, and it's actually a pretty common process, the process that all plants in fact go through, the evapotranspiration process. And basically that is the process by which the water moves from the land surface to the atmosphere through evaporation and transpiration. Now, all plants, in fact, go through that transpiration process where the root of the plant absorbs the water from the soil, whether it's from rain or just watering the plant. And then what happens is that water moves through the plant's tissue, which obviously this is a critical process for the life of the plant. And then once that plant releases the water through the leaves, it evaporates and goes into the air. Basically, the plant sweats out the water through the stomata of the plant. So basically, the plant sweats like human does. So here we have corn sweat. So this is more of kind of a localized issue and could kind of more exacerbate how hot it is in that localized area with that moisture going into the atmosphere. So what happens is the corn, the plant releases the water through those pores, as I mentioned, and that cooling and metabolic process of sweating in essence. And really those areas that have a lot of cornfields have a large amount of that water being released into the air. So, in the middle of summer, you could have a heat index, say, away from the fields of, say, 100 degrees, but then closer to the field, it may feel like 110 to 115. So obviously this can result in higher dew points, dew point being the measure of moisture in the atmosphere. So that'll make for very uncomfortable and miserable feeling conditions in and around those areas. Now, this is pretty common and throughout portions of the Midwest. Obviously here in Delmarva we have a lot of cornfields, so that is something to note if you maybe are in and around a cornfield during the summer and you might say, oh, well, you know what, it feels a little hotter here than it does in other parts of the area. So hopefully that was a clear and concise explanation of corn sweat. So that's kind of the nickname of the evapotranspiration that those plants and corn fields go through during the height of the summer season. So we continue to educate you here on the Weather 101 series, and hopefully you'll join us for Coast TV News throughout the week. Have a great weekend.